Hello, welcome to Season 5 How to Play D&D, the explainer podcast with one experienced dungeon master and one failed scriptwriter to discuss D&D topics. My name is Kinsey and my illustrious guest this week is Sam Pay. Hello, Sam.
Hello,
You are back. You are back.
I'm not on the video screen.
The Wikipedia of Monster Manual.
My goodness,
Expertise.
That's very impressive. Okay,
Yes, there we go. Not enough compliments. This season we are doing things slightly different. Our guests have selected an enemy from a list that I've supplied and they're going to educate us as to why we should use these creatures. And of course, I will interrogate. You know this line very well.
I do.
I never interrogate, actually.
No, you just go, yeah, that sounds sick.
Yeah, I mean, it's D&D. There's no such
D&D.
thing as a bad enemy, is there?
Well,
Maybe
we have talked about
badly-
it a lot.
It's the way it's played, not the enemy. That's what I'm...
Get that on a shirt.
Yeah, it's the way it's played.
The way
I'm
it's
not the
played.
enemy. That could work for any political side.
Oh.
So, what's this episode about this week?
Well, this week we're talking about something that doesn't actually appear on the list that you provided me because
Okay.
I like weird monsters
Yes.
that are kind of out there on the fringe. Today we get to talk about one of my favourite monsters from Ravenloft, the Carrionette.
Let's get to it. Okay, so today's episode is on Carrionettes, D&D's answer to parasitic dolls, which clearly everyone in the world had been begging to play with, and not in the love pillow kind of way.
Oh dear.
Sickos, if that's the way.
You internet freaks.
Yeah, freaks. Aren't Japanese love pillows enough? Do you need parasitic dolls?
Yeah, we don't.
We don't. Let's keep going. Okay, so with that, sorry, I don't. That's definitely audition playing. Right. That's so weird, isn't it?
Audition is being a right menace today.
We can cut this.
Yes.
It's fine. We'll have to. Okay, so, Sam, let's say I'm releasing a book about hunger and the pages are made of sugar paper. Would I be successful or darn stupid? What am I doing?
The trick with that one's going to be rain. If anyone takes the book literally anywhere, it's going to melt. And I don't know if they'll even get to eat the thing. Which is what my first thought was. They are going to eat the book, but the problem is...
I'm not going to tell them it's sugar paper.
Oh!
Because otherwise it won't...
So it's kind of like an ARG, but of sugar paper book?
They think they're selling a book... They think they're buying a book about hunger. And then it turns out...
blank pages full of sugar paper. Or does it actually have stuff written on it?
I'm going to say it has stuff written on it because I want them to then realise it's sugar paper.
I still think that the rain's going to be a big problem. And I don't think...
Either way. Even if
I
it was
don't think
regular paper.
Waterstones are going to take you up on that.
Waterstones, I like it. Continuity there. Okay, all right. So back to Carrionettes. Why did you pick Carrionettes?
They sit. Well, we talk a lot about like relatively high CR monsters a lot of the time. Like when we talk about Yankee, Mind Flayers, there's stuff that's like really on the upper echelons of play. Like players of like, well, I say upper echelon, like level 3, 4, and above are going to be playing them. Carrionette's a nice level CR1. You can be fighting against those guys basically from the get-go in a D&D campaign. So if you've got a bunch of friends together who you've just finished your session 0, you're looking to get started, you can just go, cool, Carrionette, done, there we go, straight away, session 1, boom.
Yeah, and also immediately creepy. Like you really are setting the scene with Carrionette. More so than some other enemies.
As a DM, I find myself more often drawn to horror than fantasy.
Okay, yeah.
It just kind of happens naturally. I love horror. I love scary movies. And the Carrionette's a great horror villain to start with for that reason. Like it's just like, okay, cool. Here's something scary that the players can interact with straight away in their adventure. Yeah. And it's. I mean, I don't think there's anything scarier than like a weird, creepy doll that can like move and walk around.
I think like there are so many enemies where you can even describe them in a kind of like horror way, even though they're actual D&D descriptions. But you can put them in different places, and it can be funny, it can be kind of lighthearted, it's kind of how you use it, right? But like a parasitic doll almost comes across as paranormal to like, you know, at first glance. Doesn't ever come across as funny, does it?
No, like, I think you can make it comedic, but it's like almost by the like the contradictory nature of
the
it.
zeitgeist of how a doll moves.
If you see like a doll moves up to you and goes, "You want some beans?" Like it's like, oh, okay, well, I wasn't expecting Chucky to ask me about beans, and
100%.
that is funny because it's like the comedy is counteracting the horror there. But yeah, no, they're freaky, man. They're just genuinely like, they're not fun to encounter straight away. And I think it's because they have this, they are an inanimate object that throws players off, and it's so easy. Like you can put a Carrionet in basically any environment. You know, like in the stuff that it talks about in the actual stat block and in the flavor text in Ravenloft, it doesn't have to be strictly a doll. It can be like any sort of toy. So you could have like a little toy soldier. You could, if you wanted to, like have like a bicycle be a Carrionet, and it's like this evil trike is tracing after everyone. And because of that, you can sprinkle them in the environment.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, where is the enemy? What is the enemy? I'm seeing a room full of toys. And then the dawning realization is you see one toy move could be, oh shit, maybe it's not just one of these things. Maybe it's more.
What kind of stat does a Carrionet have?
Really, honestly, for a CR1 monster, kind of durable. We're talking about a AC of 15, which is
pretty good for a CR1.
Again, when you've got like a tiny little I always picture like from the art the weird Victorian China tea doll one that's in there, and you don't expect something like that to have an AC of 15.
No.
So it's kind of like, oh, okay. And then 27 hit points, which I think is, again, for a level 1 party fighting them, that's perfectly reasonable.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Would you say, I mean, it's not a question on here, but is it another form of a mimic? Different creature. Different creature. Obviously, it's its own species. But, so what is it that you like about them?
Well, you're bringing up here this idea that they are similar to mimics, and I completely agree. I think they literally have the exact same flavor, the exact same ability on them, which is false object.
Right, yeah.
Which is like the same one that is on both of those stat blocks, which is basically like, oh, if you see this thing and it's not moving, you just cannot tell. There's not.
Yeah.
I think specifically in this one, it does mention that if you've not seen a Carrionet move or act, it's a DC 15 perception check to see if you can tell if it's a thing. So yeah, it's definitely in that flavor of like, here's something in an environment like a mimic that cannot. Your party maybe doesn't know to detect it straight away. It blends into most spaces that it's in, but it has a couple of extra cool things, like the fact that it doesn't need to eat or sleep. It's like an unusual nature feature, which means that also like you can do the classic, an attic has been sealed for hundreds of years. And the party go in there, and you don't need to worry about figuring out what the mimic was eating up there.
There will be one player that questions it.
Yeah, or the wizard will be like, that doesn't make sense. And your Carrionet can just be like, no, that just sits there and was doing it. It was just waiting for you all that time.
Very good.
But it has stuff in addition to the stuff that the mimic has that I think, actually, I prefer it to a mimic a lot of the time.
Okay. So how does a DM use a Carrionet in their game?
So for low-level players, I recommend maybe one Carrionet to fight against, just because they don't. Maybe a couple.
It's got a pretty, as we just discussed, a pretty hefty stat block for a CR1 what it is.
I think maybe you could put a pair of them together, like Chucky and whatever his girlfriend's called.
The Bride of Chucky.
The Bride of Chucky. You could have those two showing up there, and I think that would be great. But why I say just one for a low-level party is because of the soul swap and the silver needle stuff that they do.
Right, okay.
Mimics are great. I'm not going to go out here and slander mimics because I'll get too much hate mail for that. But
I'll be the one sending it.
But their attack that they do is pseudopod, which what the fuck is pseudopod? I don't know what pseudopod is. Is it just like a tentacle that lashes out? Is it a bite? Because I don't even think it has bite in its attack. I think it has pseudopod and swallow.
I think pseudopods are like by nature in D&D that you know, like the Displacer Beast has the kind of tentacles where they're like fly like Venus flytrap.
Yeah.
That's like a pseudopod.
But all the pseudopod thing does is it hit you. Oh, I've been hit by a pseudopod. It's like, okay. Whereas then you've got so the first attack that a Carrionette's going to do is a silver needle, which it hits you and then it curses you. So not only is it doing damage, you're also going forward in that fight minusing a d4 from all your ability checks and skills, which is like, okay, if you're putting like we keep coming back to this idea of the spooky attic and the Carrionette in there. If you've got an attic where it's like there's lots of objects that you have to climb over or move through or duck down, and you attach skill checks to those movements that then can result in extra damage being taken, just one Carrionette in that environment makes the environment deadlier because it's harder for the players to navigate it. They're more likely to fall over, to trip, to alert, to set up like I think the great thing would be like, here's a bunch of booby traps in a attic, like literal fucking bear traps, and then the Carrionette is like going from one side to the other side, like nimbly dodging through, and is like beep beep beep, like got everyone with a silver needle, and now they have to go back through the traps that they went through easily, and now they're like slamming shit on them. But then you get the soul swap thing, and that's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Because after you've been silver needled, if you get attacked again and there's like a charisma saving throw associated with it, you swap bodies.
Oh, okay, right.
So you retain all your intelligence and like social skills. Like I think your intelligence, wisdom, and charisma remains the same when you're a Carrionette. But now you're playing as the Carrionette stat block.
Yeah.
And the Carrionette is playing as you. And I don't know if any of you guys have seen like Gravity Falls or any of those like early morning like Disney XD cartoons. Every single one of those shows has a body swap episode in it. Because it's awesome. It's sick to have the character's eyes roll back and they flick back down and there's glassy black doll eyes in there, and now you have to fight your own paladin in the party. That's great. It immediately goes from being like, okay, here's fighting a little disguised dickhead, and now it's, oh no, it's jumped into my friend. And that's why it's cooler than Mimics, because
there's more to play. I think also like that as a great example is if that is just one enemy early on, say in like a beginner session where you're teaching people or they've never played and they want a bit of a taster, that can show the versatility of D&D. It's like, I mean, it's not just I hit, you hit. That's doing so much, and it really opens up new players to be like, oh, I didn't know that could happen.
Yeah.
I didn't know this thing could happen. Also, the Silver Needle thing is so good at kind of immediately taking out like the spellcaster. You know, like it brings them in straight away. That Carrionette eyed up the spellcaster, does what it wants to do to them, then starts taking on the other players. Yeah. And that also means you're introducing the spellcaster to the session rather than just like, oh, actually, I'm just going to hit the guys in front of me.
I'm just going to do hitting. I'm just going to like...
Yeah, fighter to fighter.
Like, I would argue that the Carrionette is one of those great monsters to begin your party on the path to role-playing, because that's always the hardest thing I find, especially with a new party. They don't necessarily have to be new players, but if you've got a bunch of socially awkward teenagers and young adults in a space where you're like, great, so you're an elf, now you have to have an emotional conversation with a guy you've never met before over Zoom. Yeah. What immediately helps that is going, cool, no, you guys don't have to get into the roleplay too much right now, because what's going to happen is an hour from now, that guy's going to have body swap with a doll, and you're going to have to figure that out.
Yeah, agreed.
You're going to have to do that roleplay of talking to that person in a doll form, in a different body, in this, in that. And it's immediately an encounter that introduces the idea of roleplay a lot more, because the Carrionette kind of gets all the cards when it hops into someone else's body, because it's like, well, I don't need to worry about this guy dying because I'm inside his body. It's not my body. It's great. I feel like it's a really good way of introducing new players to the idea of roleplay. They're like, no, you have to have a conversation about this. You can't just kill the goblin. You have to go, right, hang on, who's in what body? Now, in the actual stat block, you kill the Carrionette and the Carrionette's soul actually returns back to the body. Yeah. So you don't actually need to do the role play. Your players don't know that.
They don't know that, and nor should they. They should have fun with the fact that they can kind of combat their friends.
It's a total unknown. It's like, okay, do I have to restrain the barbarian right now? Do I have to do something to stop the wizard from dropping magic missile on us every single fucking time? What do we do? And this is without talking about the fact that my mate is now in like a fucking Chucky doll, or is in like a little Nutcracker doll over in the side of the room who's just going, help me. Like, it introduces so many more problems to the combat just inherently by the nature of the stat
Which
block.
is what you want. You don't want it to just be a turn for turn.
No.
What I love about this, we're talking about it kind of mostly from the perspective of a DM introducing it. But if players are listening to this isn't you going, well, I'm now very aware, so that won't happen to me. If anything, you're now going to be that player that every time you walk into anywhere where there's toys, you're going to assume it's a Carrionette. And we've actually ruined your life more than what it was.
Perception roll, Faith. The toys are evil.
If anything, this is like hearing, like, what's it called? You know, when you hear a song and you can't get it, like a brainworm, sound worm, music worm.
I think earworm?
Earworm. There we go. I didn't get it in the end.
You're afraid
yes.
forever.
Perception check in every room. Right.
But that's also the thing as the DM, is that if like you want to elicit that response from your, like, if you are doing a horror themed campaign and you're like, I need a monster to get my players scared and in the headspace of investigating space before just diving straight in, I think the Carrionette's a really good way of doing that.
Yes.
Because of its false appearance stuff, because it hides, and because it's such a turning a combat's head, like shouldered on its head or whatever.
It's like a second stage.
Yeah, but it works that way because you're like, okay, if you go into a room and you get ambushed by a Carrionette, it feels poignant because it's not like, oh, we got ambushed by a group of goblins. Oh, you remember that time where Tony the Paladin got turned into a bauble? Yeah, we have to be worried about that now.
And that in itself is like inventing lore.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you're not relying just on like players' backstories. You are having things that like have actually they're events that have happened in sessions that you can then go back to and talk about.
You're absolutely spot on. Killing a bunch of goblins is standard. Having a guy in your party become a baseball is an event that happened and is now part of your story's canon.
And if he does become a baseball, as a DM, I 100% would give advantage on hitting that out of the park. 100%. I'm 100%. Yes, and then I'm going to have to, the next session, I'm going to have to split the story with where that player appeared as a baseball.
They're like out in a bush somewhere.
Yeah, 100%.
It's so cool and so interesting. I love it. It can set a horror tone, it can set a comedy tone, it can establish lore for your players immediately, it turns combat on its head. And this is before we even talk about where did this Carrionette come from?
Yeah.
Because a Carrionette, like I was earlier saying, was like, okay, well this can be used to not have to worry about what is the mimic eating on. Hang on, where the hell did this Carrionette come from? Like, it could just be ghost god in a toy. Or it could be, no, a dude died in this house years ago and sealed his heart inside this. Like, it could, like...
So much to play with.
You could literally try and turn... Like, I don't think it's with its stat blocks that you could turn a Carrionette into a BBEG, but you could turn it into that, like, first proper villain they fight.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, there's a person in here that I can talk with and have a rapport with before, like, getting them.
Well, you were talking about it being kind of like paranormal, like, you know, how, you know, it's kind of lore. But like, you know, in the description, the joke description about it being parasitic, that is actually in the description of what they are as a species. But there's also so much to play with that. And it's good that, I think it's good that the first 4 is paranormal, because when it turns out that that's not a way of defeating it, and then it's actually this whole other thing, there's so much to play with a Carrionette.
Like, shit, do we need to exercise this
Yes.
thing? Like, and also you could use, I see a lot of DMs nowadays talking about using multiple stat blocks for one boss or one creature. So what you could do is have a guy's ghost haunting a whole manor, and a part of his ghost materializes in this Carrionette.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, okay. Like, it's like a new thing in this space. It's,
Yeah.
I love him, man. I love something that makes the party go, wait, what's happening?
Yeah.
Huh?
Like the birth of me. Same situation.
You're a Carrionette?
Haunted house. Everyone was confused it happened.
Okay. That's fine. Everyone's born in haunted houses.
Yeah, my mum was bored. Anyway, so we were going to say, can you give an example? But I think we've given plenty of examples of how it's been used, how we've encountered one. This is the tough question every time, and you're on this season quite a lot. So what's your least favourite enemy in D&D recently?
Okay.
It's a tough one.
I'm talking to the audience here now directly. I'm talking to you guys. Kinsey has set me up with an impossible task, which is that he has told me every time we record this episode for me to say something that I don't like about my favorite game in the world.
Yeah.
And I can't do it.
I tell you what.
I can't. I've run out.
I thought you were going to say this. But if you can't name a favorite enemy, and bear in mind we're block filming these today, so good luck trying to get over that. Name your least favorite player.
I refuse. Okay, so what I'm going to do instead...
I'm calling you out.
What I'm going to do instead, I'm going to name another monster that I like, and Kinsey can't stop me. I like the Light Devourer from Call of the Netherdeep. It's cool. It's another sneaky monster.
I can't stop you, that's the problem.
Yeah. If you like
This is a cooperative podcast.
It is. If you like anglerfish, like I do, or any deep sea horrible monster, if you like things with a like +10 to stealth modifier so you can scare your players,
I do like that.
and if you like art that you will put in your like Discord as like, oh, here's what this NPC looks like, and you want all your players to go, Light Devourer is all the way up there. It's a horrible anglerfish that eats light and explodes lights at your players. It's great. I love them so much. They're in Call of the Netherdeep, and if I could put a Light Devourer in any campaign, I do. So this is also a warning for anyone who plays in any of my campaigns. There is a Light Devourer.
You have been warned.
I love it. I love ambush creatures, and the Light Devourer is a beautiful, beautiful ambush creature. And I will not apologize for not talking about things I hate. I love D&D too much.
There we go. Well, there we go.
Controversial take.
The Messiah has spoken. Okay, today's adventure has sadly come to a close. We're back again next week with the topic: a single strand of spaghetti is called a spaghetto, but when I'm single, I'm called a toast of disappointment. And as always, thank you for tuning in. And if you like joining on the D&D action, then please follow us on Instagram at HousePlayD&D or check out the link in our bio to join our Discord server. Sam, where can people find you?
I actually now have, it was very funny, the first episode was like, I don't exist on the internet. I do now.
True.
You can follow me at SampayGM on Instagram. I've got some wonderful projects, some homebrew and fan content stuff for Dungeons & Dragons and for Daggerheart that will be coming out soon. And also, maybe a couple of sneaky video essays coming out.
There we go. And we'll have all the links to that in the bio, of course. I've been Connor Kinsey.
I've been Sampay.
Good day.